The warning alarms blared through the towering glass building long before anyone realized what was happening. But inside the CEO's office, chaos was strangely silent. People were shouting, screens were flashing red, and footsteps thundered across the glossy floor. Yet in the center of it all stood a girl, small, quiet, and overlooked, staring at an empire collapsing around her. She wasn't supposed to be here. She was just the maid's daughter, the girl no one saw, the child people brushed past in hallways without offering a greeting. But now, in the darkest moment of the company's history, every head in the room turned toward her, because she was the only one still thinking clearly while billionaires panicked around her. And what happened next would become the moment that changed all their lives forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of people who come from nothing, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps stories like this reach more hearts. The story truly began years earlier, long before the crisis. The company, Meridian Tech, had risen from a small startup into a global powerhouse under the leadership of CEO Charles Wellington, a man brilliant in business but blind in humanity. His employees respected him, feared him, and obeyed him. But the people who cleaned his offices, scrubbed his floors, and polished his marble hallways? To him, they barely existed, and that included Rosa, a single mother who worked tirelessly as a maid just to keep a roof over her daughter's head. Her daughter, Lily, was bright, too bright for their world. At 9 years old, she was already obsessed with computers, spending her free time in the broken public library computers, watching tutorials, reading online forums, and teaching herself coding through scratchy old videos. She had a mind that saw patterns instantly, a mind that loved solving problems others thought impossible. But because she was the maid's daughter, no one ever bothered to ask what she was capable of. Every afternoon, Rosa brought Lily with her to work because she couldn't afford daycare. While Rosa cleaned office after office, Lily sat quietly in the corner with an old used laptop someone from the building had thrown away. She repaired it herself, part by part, screw by screw, using YouTube videos and bits of wire she found behind desks. The executives sometimes walked past her with thin smiles or dismissive glances, whispering about the poor kid sitting on the floor. But Lily didn't care. Her world existed inside glowing screens and lines of code. Rosa would often glance at her daughter, wondering if the life Lily dreamed of would ever be possible for someone born into so little. Charles, the CEO, barely knew their names. When he did glance at Lily, it was usually with annoyance, like she was clutter in his pristine halls. He once muttered, loud enough for Rosa to hear, "Children shouldn't linger in a corporate environment. It makes the place look unprofessional." But Rosa had no choice, and Lily had nowhere else to go. Still, Lily never complained. She knew her mother worked hard, harder than anyone in that building, even if no one respected her for it. Lily decided her way of helping would be to learn enough one day to give them both a better life. That day came sooner than anyone could have imagined. One morning, disaster struck Meridian Tech like a lightning bolt. The company's entire system was hacked in under 12 minutes, the fastest, most sophisticated cyber attack the country had ever seen. Every screen in the building turned red. Every security protocol failed. Their entire digital infrastructure, the backbone of their multi-million-dollar contracts, was collapsing. Data was being stolen in real time, financial reserves were draining, and the attackers were demanding an impossible sum to stop. If the breach continued another hour, Meridian Tech would be finished, bankrupt, exposed, and humiliated on a global scale. Executives sprinted through corridors, teams frantically typed at terminals, and Charles Wellington felt the ground crumble beneath him. His entire empire, built over 20 years, was falling apart in minutes. He screamed orders, threw papers, and slammed fists on desks as if anger could stop the inevitable. At that moment, Rosa was cleaning upstairs. She heard the shouts, the rushing, the panic. She moved to get Lily, but the little girl was already standing up, drawn by the chaos like a pulled thread. Lily had always been curious, had always paid attention when others thought she wasn't listening. She had overheard employees talking about vulnerabilities, outdated firewalls, budgets redirected away from cybersecurity because no one would dare attack us. And she knew enough, maybe more than enough, to understand this wasn't a simple breach, it was a total systems takeover. When she reached the control center, she saw lines of frantic adults, all terrified. She watched as engineers tried everything, but nothing worked. The attack was too advanced. Some executives were even crying. Lily felt something stir inside her, not fear but clarity. She walked forward, unnoticed at first, like a small ghost among giants. Then Charles saw her. His eyebrows bunched in disbelief, then in irritation. "Why is the maid's daughter here?" he snapped. "This is not a playground. Someone get her out." Before he finished, Lily quietly stepped closer to the nearest screen. Her eyes were focused, calculating, following patterns that none of them saw. One of the engineers noticed her first. He looked at her hands, steady and confident, as she scanned the cascading code. "Sir," he said cautiously, "she's reading it." Charles scoffed. "Nonsense, she's a child." But the breach worsened. The ransom increased. Their last defense systems crashed, and Lily finally spoke, gently but firmly. She told them she understood what the attackers were doing. She explained the pattern of infiltration, the repeating sequences, the hidden trapdoor left behind in the code. She said she knew how to counter it, but warned they had only minutes. The room fell silent. Charles stared at her, torn between desperation and disbelief. In his panic and pride, he laughed, a sharp, broken laugh, and said, "Fine. If you can save this company, I'll give you $100 million. Rosa gasped from behind her cart, horrified he would mock her daughter that way. Lily didn't flinch. She simply asked for access to a terminal. Engineers hesitated, unsure whether to trust a child or give up entirely. In the end, fear made the decision for them. Lily sat at a workstation far too big for her small frame, but when her fingers touched the keyboard, she transformed. She moved with astonishing speed, typing so fast some executives thought her hands were trembling. But they weren't. They were confident, certain, almost graceful. She didn't just block the breach, she cornered it. She traced it, isolated it, reversed it, and built an improvised counterattack that left even senior cybersecurity experts speechless. The attackers suddenly found themselves locked out of the very system they had been controlling. Their access evaporated, their demands vanished. Lily restored the company's servers section by section, like someone carefully stitching together a torn masterpiece. And then, it was over. Every screen turned blue again. Every alarm fell silent. Every person in that room stared at the little girl who had saved $1 billion empire with nothing but courage and brilliance. But instead of celebrating, Lily simply stood up, walked to her mother, and said she was tired. She didn't boast. She didn't ask for praise. She didn't even remind Charles of his promise. She just wanted to go home. What happened next became the turning point of the entire story. Charles Wellington sank to his knees, not from defeat, but from realization. For the first time in his life, he understood how blind he had been. The girl he once treated as invisible had done what his entire corporation could not. She had saved everything he had ever built. She had saved thousands of jobs, hundreds of families, and the future of Meridian Tech. He stood slowly, walked to Rosa and Lily, and looked at them with a rawness no one had ever seen in him. He said he would honor his promise, not out of obligation, but out of gratitude and humility. He gave Lily the $100 million. He gave Rosa a lifetime salary and full ownership of her own home. But more importantly, he gave Lily the opportunity she deserved. He created a scholarship in her name, built a research lab she could one day lead, and promised to support her education for as long as she wished. The media later called it the miracle of Meridian, but those who were there knew it wasn't a miracle at all. It was the power of a child no one believed in, a child who rose above mockery, poverty, and invisibility to prove that brilliance can come from anywhere. Years passed, and Lily didn't waste a second. She grew, learned, invented, and became the youngest cybersecurity architect in the country, leading breakthroughs that protected millions. Charles never forgot the day she saved him, not from the hackers, but from himself. And Rosa? She lived to see her daughter rise higher than she ever dreamed, proud beyond measure. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps bring more inspiring stories to life. Before we end, here is a special request. Please comment below what part of Lily's journey inspired you the most. In the end, Lily proved something the world often forgets: that brilliance, kindness, and courage are not defined by wealth, status, or background. They can be found in the quietest corners, in the humblest families, in the children no one sees. And when they are given a chance, they can change everything.